Hello YouTube, Jolly1990 here with my review and reading of One Piece Chapter 1082. Let's go and claim it. Lately I have been getting spoiled and it's been coming essentially to work. I have been reading it, so sadly I'm not unspoiled, but I am very excited about the chapter. Spoiler alert for anyone going forward who's not ready to go read it. This essentially is a Cross Guild and Sabo chapter. Cover page. Cover request by Kamada Hanata. Forgive me if I'm destroying the name. Chopper mistakes Zeus for cotton candy and taking a bite. To me, this is very cute because essentially he essentially is cotton candy lover Chopper. Vice Admiral TBone was adored by civilians and Marines alike. An obituary makes the front page. News of his death shocked the world, but Navy refused to come to details of the incident. So, reading the chapter, I essentially know this was he was taken out by someone essentially who was doing for Cross Guild. I did like T-Bone. I thought essentially he was kind of a very cool character who had his own morals, and the fact that he kind of showed up Mayor Joyce, I thought was kind of cool. So it was sad to kind of see this character get wiped out. They caught the man who did Navy HQ. Nope, not yet, but we're certain Clark's family is bound to be pretty well off after this. What's the world coming to it, Sura-chan? Civilians were sworn to protect our savviness in the back. It's unbearable. Pirates aren't the only ones interested in money, you know. We Marines have bunnies on our heads now. It's only natural people to come after us, especially in a place like Peep Kingdom where over 1,000 die of starvation every year. It's no wonder he was killed there. Poverty, wealth are all adapt to our circumstances. Not that I'm trying to defend the corporate first, just noticing that this is what the darn clown had in mind. We've severely underestimated him. Referring to Buggy. How can you protect and serve people if you have to constantly look over your shoulder when you're around them? If we don't neutralize this cross-guild group soon, this will kill the morale of every Marine and weaken the whole Navy. So this is kind of what a lot of people were thinking, that this is the goal essentially Oda had in creating this. It's kind of leading to more chaos, and so I essentially like this idea of cross-guild is a threat. Hey, Hina, have you seen Gart? There's a new rice cracker flavor I wanted to try. He said he was off to save Kobe a few days ago, so he's probably teamed up with Sword. Pretty sure Kajaku's with him at least. What? Don't tell me they've gone to Hachinoso! We already know this essentially from the last two chapters. We switch to Empty Bluff, so shift 1. Good job crossing the seas and making it. Thank you. Be proud. The emperors in the underworld are smiling because you. Everyone is proclaiming the birth of a new star, a champion of evil. I heard my family receive the payment. Thank you so much. So essentially, this I think is the killer of T-Bone. Don't mention it. You took down one of Navy HQ's finest vice admirals. Your evil charisma incarnate. Stop being so humble. Yeah, ha, 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 ha. You're crazy. Start really shock the Marines. They'll have your head. They catch you for sure. Ack! Even if I can't see my family ever again, it's better than watching the observation. I'm so hungry. Rest easy, friend. We'll take care of you as a fellow pirate. As a pirate? Got it? Get it? One of the emperors is taking care of you under his wing. The bombastic clown himself, Buggy Sama. He's on another level. The 2-bit pirate you met before ain't fit to lick his boots. Never forget the moment you're standing face to face with the living legend. It's Buggy Sama in flesh. Buggy in the flesh. Buggy in the flesh. We still got his cult members. Sober up, you Raleigh Sama. You're so fresh. That makes me sound like kind of cereal. We finished it, sir. A ship worthy of Cross Guild. Uh-oh. Leave the ship to me. I've got some talented shipwrights. Yeah! Making you the figurehead was the glorious, obvious choice, Chairman Buggy. I think it turned out great. You expected to see this thing we essentially got. Mihawk and Crocodile. It's like, let's take this to the meeting room. I'm so dead, he's thinking probably. Let's hear it for the ship, greatest ship ever. You guys really outdid yourself in the meeting room. So it's hard to tell. Kind of looks like Oviedo. One of the essentially like cruise, and there's another person with a hat. Can't tell who it is. And then desk 4, we essentially have Buggy hanging on a wall. Public awareness of cross-guild is growing in this plan. The Navy is starting to understand the threat we pose. We need to have unparalleled influence to form our utopia. So there's still a goal he has in mind. Become a strong military state, but before that, we all need to establish our overwhelming power, right? This is wrong. This isn't how I wanted my life to go. Buggy, and to do that, we've got to find a way to gather an enormous amount of Wealth, you're saying we need wealth and power. We have a line here, and I know how you may do with me saying this. How you can yourself pirates who schemes like that. What did that cockroach just say? You're doing it all backwards. You must have heard, right? You know Red Hair is making his move. We used to be on this pirate scheme together, but circumstances prevented us from going to Laughter with the others. What? Tell me, way back then, when did you guys want to be? So we've got third shift doing time, so four. When I sail with Shanks, he shone so brightly with potential. I know I couldn't measure up, so I let go of my real dream. 24 years ago, the day Gold Roger was executed. You said yourself, didn't you, Shanks? You said your crew would reach Laughter one day too. Yeah, I changed my mind, at least for now. I'm not ready to go for it. I'm still going to be a pirate. You're not the next generation's king. I misjudged you, Shanks. Come with me, Buggy. I'm not going to work on you, you coward. Don't you dare care about following Captain Roger's footsteps. You haven't forgotten, have you? It's your fault I lost that treasure map. I still haven't forgiven for that. You better watch your back next time. The no good Shanks is finally making his boot. What good is it now? I don't know why, but somehow through luck or chance, we're on equal footing again. And if that's the way it is, I might as well go ahead and say, I want to be king of the pirates. Wealth, power. Why stop there when we can have it all? Let's go for it. Let's go claim the ultimate treasure. Love, the Buggy essentially speaking out. Yeah, I can't believe you're deluded enough to buy your own con. Remember, we're only letting you keep that title because of benefits. You think we're just going to get carried to the top? We're not playing pirates here. This is serious business. You don't have a clue, let alone plan. You really expect to go pick fights with red hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? I love the fact that Luffy now is up there with the top dogs. It's a scramble for the treasure. We only need to beat them to you. Let me show you. There are some words that light a fire in the heart of every pirate. It's because they all set sail for the same reason. Click. Listen up, men. Stop it, Buggy. What a dream drove you all to the sea. John Buggy wants to give us back a spark. Oh man, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Every moment you cling to life might be your last, so why ignore that screaming urge inside you? If you give up becomes the reality of it, shoot on, now is your chance. Now time for us to set sail, to reach out and grasp what we all desire most. It's time for us to finally go and claim the One Piece. Yeah, woo! And Crocodile and Mihawk. Crocodile, I think, is more mad than essentially Mihawk. Mihawk at least is perturbed, but he doesn't look too mad about it. And then we swift to Kamabaka Kingdom, New Kingdom. What do you think about ship? Emma or who it be? Revolutionary Army, Vice Captain of the West Army, Ushino, morally similar. I like essentially looking these guys firsthand off because they're all kind of unique according to their captains, essentially the divisions of the Revolutionary Army. So kind of they're looking a little like their people. And then essentially we have Revolutionary Vice Captain of the East Army, Ahira, Bellow Buddy. I'm surprised she looks more like Limber because she's kind of got the technology going. Klingling, want to bet on it? I wager an enemies. Who's in? Army, Giambo, Lindbergh's serving it. And it sounds good to me, Miji. I'll put 1 mil on it being Sabo, having making his return. You're what? Revolutionary Army of the South, Captain of the South Army, Giron. Kazara's subordinate. Dragon-san! Eva-san! Sabo-san's back! So he made it home okay. Thank goodness. I knew something was up when you said you'd build a million. I admit coughing up a single berry. I ain't coughing up a single berry. I'll wring it out of you. Oh, you used those binoculars, did you? What binoculars? Munch, munch, welcome back. You think you can get away by eating that? Maybe some kind of metal fruit or like some munch munch or something? Similar to waffles. Was Sabo, I was just about to shoot you. Glad you didn't. Everything okay? You're not. Were you worried? Maybe a little. Sabo, you safe. Me happy. That's a Lucian ship. Lucia? You mean the country that vanished? I'll explain it for now. Please help these guys. Sabogan, this is big. We all kind of suspected he wasn't dead. I like the fact that he's got refugees with him, and essentially that'll do even more. Essentially, the fact you've got people who survived, they're going to be more to the spark. You just went radio silent. How could you do that to us? My bad, Koala. Couldn't get my hands on the encryptor transmitter, so On my calls with him and muttered, I used the usual beat code to signal I was all right. Didn't you hear? I wasn't in Lucia when it happened. You had me so worried. Sorry. Sabo! It's Morley. Why are all you boys like that? Morley? Don't scare us like that again, silly. Yeah, he's got like the level of fun going on. I remember you losers from Lucia. You come a long way. It's a real shame what happened to your home, but I heard you were hoping to join our cause. Yes, ma'am. First things first. Get some rest. We'll straighten you out after that. I heard about Kumasan. Sorry about that. We let everyone work our ways. Don't worry, I knew you two were trying to work hard. It might have been programmed to return Mary Joyce as a contingency. I like this a lot. Because people are like, why would he return? Why would Kuma go through all that? They go through all that just to get him. And then what's the point? To me, it's Sabo had to see something in Mary Joyce. So maybe the rescue mission worked, but it in the end it failed. But they escaped. Sabo were a few good men, as King Lightning says. And essentially, Sabo saw something. Imu-sama, or even more that we don't know. I'm hoping we get more info in that next chapter. Sabo, you didn't want the captains hearing what you got to say? Yeah, just hearing what probably put your life risk. What the heck? There was some major trouble with Reverie. I'll tell you what really happened at the Holy Land of Mary Joyce. Right off the bat, I like that we're kind of doing, you had Shanks, Blackbeard, Shanks, Hachinoso, Revolutionary. I feel like Oda's really kind of gives us all this other world information right before Egghead really hits off for the summer. Because I didn't think I would be saying this, but I think Egghead is going to be huge. Like we always say, YouTubers realize it's going to be bigger than we thought. I thought it was going to be Quicksilver. It's literally going to be bigger than O'Hara, and there's going to be a lot more. You've seen essentially, we saw Law get defeated. We saw Kid get demolished. Luffy's going to have to take that W. Before that, I feel we're going to have to get all this information, and this will lead up to Egghead and lifting up even more. So, pacing of the chapter, I think it's not bad, but there is a decent few parts. So, you've essentially got them, Suru and tired essentially Sengoku reading the news about the death. You have Crossguild essentially turning in the bounty, explaining what's going on. I still kind of feel like this is one part essentially in Buggy Luke's ship. Then you essentially have the private meeting with Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk. You have the flashback, which is 4. And then we go back to essentially the actual right before it. So some people consider that. I would still say 5. I'm counting every single time we go back and forth. And so there's that. We transition essentially to Kambaka. We transition to essentially Sabo showing up. And then the actual small time meeting, which is 8. So I still think there's decent. There's a lot part, which it's not bad. It's especially I think with some of the parts essentially you could probably narrow down to 5 or 6. I do think the beginning starts off really good, kind of a nice patient, kind of showing, looking down so it doesn't feel like it's separate, and then kind of transitions essentially to Suru and Sengoku looking at stuff. I loved the flashback with essentially Buggy and Shanks. I thought that was a nice little Shanks bit. And then essentially, so then the transition essentially to Kumbaka and everything going on there. So transition, I want to give it a 3. Still not bad, but it's not best. So me, it's 8th part. Some people might argue it's less, but I feel like this is an 8 part. So to me, no. Character-wise, short tidbit to TBone. I like the fact that TBone essentially made the Vice Admiral. Sad he got taken out, but essentially I like his character. I like essentially character for the fact that he made up and he got taken. We essentially see Sengoku as Suru. Little character for more Sengoku essentially because he realizes Cross Guild is becoming a major threat, and this is directly what they took out TBone and they could be next. Him realizing stuff's going to happen, and even if the old farts can essentially step in. Character for Buggy's men, specifically the guys essentially that divine the ship and essentially his cult followers. I love the fact that they're still so wound up in the fact that even, he might be weak, but he has such charisma. And I love the fact that we're still seeing it. And they have such love and passion for him. They're still willing to go over the top for Buggy. Character for Buggy. I'm jumping on. The fact that Buggy didn't want to go with Shanks because he thought Shanks lost his dream or delayed it when he should have been focused, and he wasn't. And so the fact that Buggy didn't lose that kiddish pirate heart dream, to me, kind of shows this is in a way in line with Luffy. A little for Shanks, the fact that Shanks was realistic. Probably realized he needed to wait to do something. He's still going after it, but he waited. Crocodile character, the fact that he still has a plan. Essentially, his goal is to grow into a strong organization. Mihawk, I think, for the fact that he's calm, he's calculating, he's seasoning, the fact that he doesn't want to essentially. He acknowledges that Straw Hat has finally reached that point. He's like, hey, going after Luffy would be an issue. The fact that he recognizes Luffy actually could be an issue to me is like, yes. So character development for Crocodile, the fact that he's recognizing, still seeing the whole picture with everything. Character for Sabo, the fact that he made it back, but also the fact that he's caring about other people. He doesn't want them to get pulled up into things if they go sour. And that's why essentially he has a private meeting with everyone. So I thought there was a lot for character. Buggy, especially. Buggy, Crocodile, a little Shanks, but big one for me is Buggy, Buggy's crew, Sengoku, and then the others kind of follow. Crocodile, Sabo, Mihawk. Just based on that, it's still a lot there, but still not as much compared to the original three. I struggle giving this a 5 out of 5, but I would say a 4.5 out of 5. So essentially, I've got 7.5 essentially right now out of 10. Character or story development. There's so much for character. Sorry, for story. TBone was killed. Official, actual confirmation of essentially a vice admiral taken out by civilians via cross kill. Boom. Sengoku and Asura literally are starting to get concerned about how big of a threat this is. If every man and child are turning against them. They acknowledge Garb's essentially gone after Beehive. They might even have to tell to essentially go help them. That could lead to more Marines and more casualties, which probably Garb doesn't want. We transition to essentially seeing essentially that those who essentially are taking out Marines probably on the run now. So Buggy essentially is welcoming them as his crew. And we see essentially the island has grown by the looks of it, or is tense. Story-wise, Buggy has his awesome ship, but besides it's big enough to fit a lot of people, but also the fact that because of these continual stunts, you have to wonder how long Buggy's got. Buggy has a dream and passion, so he's propelling his crew to the One Piece. Crocodile and Mihawk straight up do not want to go for it. They're concerned about all the other competition, but Buggy is forcing them probably to go that way. So it literally will be a 4v4. Blackbeard, Shanks, Crossgill, Luffy. We see more of Kumbaka. Essentially, we see that there's more different members of the Revolutionary Army. Some of these you could say for character could have been given more, but briefly from me. I want to wait till we get more from them. So that's why I didn't give them a lot for character. Koala jumping back, I guess I would give her maybe a little for character for the fact that Koala's happy to see Sabo. Story-wise, Koala essentially being happy to see Sabo probably says next time she's going with him. No matter what happens, she will probably go with him and could either to success or more downplay because he's worried and has to save her. Hoshea rebels slash survivors, so this could lead to more sparks of the revolutionary across the world. Revolutions because essentially here's a kingdom that's literally wiped out and they survived. Witnesses. It's going to lead more to the revolutionary cause. And then the fact that essentially you have Sabo saying, hey, I got a lot to tell you guys, and I don't want to essentially everyone else in the revolution to kill. So Sabo probably still believes that, hey, sure, there's traitors, but if this gets out, they might still be alive. You guys could still be alive and the government may not try to kill you. So, story, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 as well. So, essentially, you have 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 out of 15. This was a solid, good world building. Not necessarily action, but world building. There's a lot of stuff with cross skilled, Buggy's dream, Usuru, and Sengoku with essentially the bounties and people being taken out. I like this initially the video I said because it's setting everything up to I think build up to how big the Egghead Island is going to be with all this information. I think we're waiting not just the action of Egghead, but I think the information that's going to pile into it, and then whatever happens, that will lead more into more kingdoms and more people revolting and more government essentially having to step in and do stuff. So really good. Essentially 12 out of 15. This has been Jolly Green's review and reading of chapter One Piece 1082 by YouTube.